welcome to the official first Power Panels of 2021. I am Jennifer Carter, your Director of Client Performance here for Satisfax and Apartment Ratings. Just a quick note, if you would love to, we would love for you to join us on Facebook at Satisfax and then on Instagram at Satisfax Education. Love to be able to connect with you. This topic is social media, and so love to see what your communities have going on, and you can always see what we have to share with you on our social media as well. And as I mentioned, brand new topic, social media superstars is our topic for today. Something new about the Power Panel webinars we're going to be hosting for 2021. It'll be myself, the Director of Client Performance, but I am going to have 3 special panelists every month. The panelists are actually on-site property managers, and so today we have 3 fantastic panelists. We have Pascal from the Century, which he is a community manager for Pillar Properties. And he is actually based out in Seattle, Washington, so he's representing out in the West Coast. Would you like to say hi, Pascal?
Good morning, everyone.
Awesome. We are glad for you to join us. We have 2 Brittany's. Brittany Nelson, she's the at the Link Innovation Quarter community manager, and that is a Grub Properties community. And love for you to say hi, Brittany.
Hey, everybody.
And we'll make sure we reference Brittany N, and then we have Brittany P for Brittany Parker, and she is at the Menlo Park. She's a general manager with Preferred Apartments. So would like to say hello, Brittany.
Good morning, or hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Really appreciate all of you panelists joining us today. You have some wonderful information to share with us, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say. As again, this is all about social media. So a couple of things to note before we get into all of the goods. We're still keeping our webinars to 30 minutes of the goods of the information that you can take away with. So kind of keep it concise, but important things that you'll want to have in your pocket for the future. We'll have a follow-up email going out, and it will include the recording and the slides. So look out for that shortly after the call today. At the end, we will have a live Q&A. The greatest thing about this new series is not only will I be able to answer some questions if you have them, but all of my panelists will be available. If you have some questions to ask them, you are freely and able to do that. Please leave your questions in the questions box, and we will pick them up and answer those during the live Q&A. At the end, when you close out, we will have an exit survey. So if you we'd love for you to rate and comment. And then, of course, you can sign up for next month's topic, which I will share with you at the end of the webinar today. All right, well, we have a brand new sponsor. So this webinar and all of our webinars for this year will not be able to be free without our sponsor. They allow us to be able to do this and offer this free for each and every one of you that are on the call. So we have a quick little brief little video that I'd like to be able to share with you in regards to our sponsor. So just hang tight for just a second. All right. Well, again, we want to give a quick shout out and a thank you to Pinwheel, because again, without them, we would not be able to offer these webinars free for you guys. Next, before we get into the real goods, we have a special giveaway today. So we have a social media giveaway. What better way to start off the year with an opportunity to win $50 to Starbucks? I know everyone could probably use some kind of specialty drink from there. So in order to be entered to win, we would love for you to log in and follow us on Facebook or Instagram, if not both. Make sure you like our page. And then after today's session, we always post a testimonial. So go ahead and find that testimonial post from today's webinar after the call. And then make sure you like it. And if you can leave a nice comment or an emoji of the confetti, that way you'll be able to be entered to win a chance to win that $50 Starbucks card. So feel free to take a minute and make sure you're following us, and our winner will be announced tomorrow. So stay tuned to our social media pages for that information. All right, let's get into some quick stats, and we'll then hear in just a second from all of our panelists and hear what they have to say. So starting off with our quick stats, of course, here at Satisfax and Apartment Ratings, we make sure that everything is based on our research, on our data. So we are always collecting great information from residents and would love to share that with you. In regards to social media, we ask our residents, how frequently do you communicate with office staff via social media? And something that you may find interesting, may not, never is actually the top answer, 58%. So what does that really tell us, right? When it comes to social media, we are seeing that residents are not using social media to communicate with their office staff, right? They're using it for other ways, such as to connect and have that sense of community. So a little over 50% is really kind of sharing like that is not how residents are looking to communicate. The other stat of information we have here to share with you is if the apartment community staff needs to contact you from a resident, how would you like to be contacted? And so here you can see of all the choices we gave our residents, where did social networking sites come in? Less than 1%. So not sure if that's surprising to you or not, but again, that shares with us how residents, what their preferred method of contact is. It's not through social networking. They're of course preferring that email, cell phone, or text message. Next up, we have our annual surveys that we survey our residents once a year. And we ask them in that survey, how do you rate your community social media pages? So things like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what are those that you use and how do you rate those? So for our annual residents, they actually rated on that scale of 1 to 5, they rated their community social media page a 3.88. So with the highest being 5, we still have some opportunity there, right? A 4.5 or higher is in the exceptional category. So we're not yet extremely satisfied, but we do have the opportunity to maybe rethink what we're doing when it comes to our social media pages for 2021. Now, we also survey our residents in our Insight survey, which goes out to residents, specifically their pre-renewal survey, 120 days prior to their lease expiration. And we ask them as well, same question, how are you scoring or rating your community social media pages? And so 3.96 is where they are currently at the end of 2020, excuse me, and how satisfied they are, again, on that rating 1 to 5 scale. So what can we do? What can we gather? Where can we take the information and understand that if residents don't want to use social media to communicate and that's not their preferred method, what do they want to see when it comes to social media? Where should and what content should be put on social media for residents to enjoy and to use? So we have just to share with you our panelists how they fared in their surveys and their residents scored them. Ironically, they actually all scored a 4.5, which is again in that exceptional marker, 4.5 or higher. So again, they have some fantastic information to share with you, and we are going to have them chime in now. First and foremost, we want to start really kind of with the content, right? What content is and has been successful, specifically even during COVID? During this pandemic last year, what has really been successful when it comes to content? What does our panelists, residents really enjoy seeing? So with that, we're going to find out in just a second, but I want to share first with you our renter feedback. We constantly here at Satisfax love to reach out to residents and get their feedback on different topics. And so one of the things we ask them is what is their opinion of the community's social media feed? Specifically like these photos, right? If you were to see these photos, what would your perception of the community be in regards to what you're seeing on the feed? So let's hear from this renter real quick, and then we'll turn it over to Pascal.
It's just pictures of the apartment. It looks like it's a promo for people to look at pictures of the apartment and lease there. Doesn't really look like social media. Looks more like an ad.
All right, so pretty short and sweet from this renter's feedback. Wasn't too engaging, right? So let's turn it over to Pascal at the Century, and I'd love, Pascal, for you to talk a little bit about some of these different types of posts that you've been able to do, and how they've been successful, and kind of talk a little bit, if you can, about the content that you put on both your Facebook and your Instagram pages.
Of course. Good morning, everyone, again. So mostly we've been trying to focus to really engage with the residents because obviously everyone's working from home. So we did a happy hour and essentially brought drinks to them. So we took it floor by floor and we went twice throughout the day and decided to bring drinks to them, and they got to choose their drinks, whatever they needed. If it was coffee, iced coffee, juice, we had beers, ginger beer, whatever they needed. So we just kind of brought it to them. It was so much fun because everyone got to choose their own drinks. And then we've also been doing food trucks since July. So we've actually reached out to all the local food trucks and essentially made a schedule Monday through Friday. We have 2 trucks a day. We have our lunch truck from 11 to 2, and then we have our dinner truck from 5 to 8. And it's been such a success. And we wanted to give back to the community since we are a local company from Seattle. We're very localicious and really want to partner with local vendors and make sure that we give back to the community, especially during this pandemic. So we wanted to really bring that home, and it's been a success. We're still doing it. We're already working on February and March schedules. And then one of the other posts is obviously our maintenance supervisor, Mike here, was nominated for the Emerald Awards with the Washington Multifamily Housing. So we wanted to showcase Mike and make sure that everyone can congratulate him as they see him in the hallways, and make sure we feature our team and let them know that, we're here for them.
I love that. I especially love the drink one, because everybody could use a drink, but I think it's also a great way to stay connected to your residents. So, you might not be seeing your residents right every day or as much, depending on how your office is open. So I love the fact that you had the opportunity to, possibly see some of the residents and connect with them. And nothing better, of course, than to put it back and take those photos and put it on your social media to create that sense of community, throughout, so the residents can feel that you know, that are living at your community.
Exactly.
Love that. Let's see also, let's hear a little bit from Brittany, if you could. I know you had some good tips and information in regards to still understanding that prospects may visit your social media page, and what are some ways that you can still maybe interact with some possible prospects in different ways besides posting things like you see here, just the floor plan, right? Because there's nothing worse probably as a resident than seeing a floor plan posted with 2 months free, right? So if you could share with us a little bit about how and what you do to still reach prospects.
Sure, absolutely. And we've always utilized our social media as just that social media, really kind of that all the feels sort of vibe. But also to connect with people. So often we get asked, and we can't answer the question, what kind of people live here, what kind of things do you do, etc. But the social media aspect really gives them that answer to that. And really, I want to focus on the hidden perks. Like there's a lot of things that people just don't know unless they're actually a resident of your community, that they just don't know about without visiting your social media. And some of that is the community service, kind of like Pascal said. We've been really heavily focused on support local in our Winston-Salem community, and we showcase that on our social media as well. And we partner with them, we tag them. But also the customer service that we provide, that's showcased on there as well. The resident events that we do, the virtual bingo games, the virtual giveaways, how we partner with local businesses for the residents. So there's a lot of hidden perks to living at our community that you don't necessarily see just because you're touring through the amenities or through a model apartment home. And we like to showcase those on there, and not just by floor plans and, hey, we're giving this away or that away. If you move here, it's all about, what we're going to offer you as a resident, and the hidden value that we offer.
Awesome. That's great. So let's go ahead and move over to engagement, because once we have some great content, we want to make sure we're engaging with our residents. So our other Brittany, she has had some great success with some great engagement. So I'd love for you, especially the waffle maker. That's my favorite. I love waffles. But if you could share a little bit about some of the ways you create engagement for your social media, that'd be great.
Of course. So obviously the most important thing with social media is to get, your followers to engage and, like and comment. And so we found that small little giveaways, whether it be a $10 waffle maker or a sangria kit, this could be $10 to maybe $20 that we offer. We do like a little contest. If you like this post and comment with, your favorite breakfast, and maybe tag your friend who likes breakfast, it's given us, a lot of additional engagement on social media. And so something just as small as a $10 or $20 gift has really helped us to grow our followers, and just really kind of get that engagement that we're looking for. And sometimes, we all have budgets that we have to stick with. So if you maybe don't have that money in the budget, you can also partner up with local, businesses in the area, and maybe they offer something that you can give away. But we just have really found a lot of success in this. We usually call it Win It Wednesday, and it's usually our best post of the week because people are pretty excited about the prizes that we offer.
I love that. There is nothing better than a free little giveaway, and everybody loves to win something, right? And I think it's definitely great ways to keep engaged and connected with your residents as well. So if you haven't noticed, on the left side, you'll catch all of the panelists' pages for Facebook and Instagram. So feel free to go and connect with them as well and see what creative things they're doing. There's nothing better than learning from other managers and other communities. So feel free to do that as well. That is, of course, a great way to see what's happening. And then we have some other ideas here as well for engagement. I know, Brittany, here you've done a great job, and these are different ways that also really kind of showcase views and patios and things like that. So you want to talk just a brief second about what some of the posts that you've had that help create engagement?
Yeah, absolutely. So these that you see here all did happen during the pandemic. Everybody was shut up at home. We had somebody who sent us some photos of their balcony. They were stuck working from home, and we just thought it was gorgeous, and we wanted to share. And a lot of these posts that you see, like the engagement that happened with these, were really about, who we tagged in the photos, the hashtags that we use, that sort of thing. And again, just creating kind of all those feels. And then the last one that you see, which are two of our leasing specialists, Kelly and Jess, in the bottom, that was actually we had a rooftop vendor parking deck pop up, and that was there. And again, it was just all about who we tagged in the downtown Winston market. So that was why we got so much engagement in those.
Yeah, fantastic ideas. We have some great questions coming in. I see them, and so don't worry. We will get to them in just a brief minute there. So I do see them coming in, so that's great. Quick here note, I think this is really great. You mentioned to be social in posts, right? Don't ignore the comments. That's a big one. And I love this last thing here. You mentioned activity equals engagement, that equals exposure. Did you want to touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, so the activity engagement and exposure. So often, we're caught like scrolling on our phones during our lunch break, or during a moment, or whatever the case is. If you're scrolling, like somebody else's photo, comment, that sort of thing. I'm really big on not ignoring comments. If somebody comments on your social media post, make sure you like it. Have something to say back, or just thank you, or whatever the case is. But like other businesses pages as well on Instagram and on Facebook, that the algorithms behind social media are so huge that if you like something and they like it and they comment, it's just going to give you so much more exposure on social media. And that's really, we are doing it to be social, but we're also doing it for exposure as well. So follow suit with those algorithms. They definitely make a difference.
Absolutely, which is absolutely great. So we have another renter feedback real quick that I want to be able to share with you, and it really goes to show you, what renters are looking for, and these are, I think, are the types of things that you're hearing from our panelists. So this is just a quick snippet here as well from one of our renters, from our renter focus groups, their feedback.
In my opinion, the best ways for property management companies to like use their social media is to really interact and make it like more personal, the way that like this last page has, just because like they'll get more interactions, they'll get more like traction on the internet, and it's just more interesting for everyone to look at. So I'd definitely say making it more personal, having people highlighting the fun things, having good reviews, like from actual people rather than just like a straight up advertisement, because no one really wants to see that on their social media pages. You want to see people, you want to see smiles, you want to see fun things, you want to see positive things, like uplifting things rather than just like plain advertisements. So yeah, in my opinion, that's how property management companies could use social media better.
All right. So again, I think that really, really just kind of talks again to about doing and showcasing things for, real folks that live there, real residents. What is the sense of community? What is it like to truly live at your community? Will I be a part of that community? Am I going to be valued there? And showcasing those things on social media is a great way to connect. The last piece, right? We have our content, we have engagement, and then we really want to make sure we're analyzing. We want to look at really talking about and going back and looking at what you're actually posting. So we want to make sure that if something isn't working, that we kind of shift and pivot and correct and change things up a bit. So, Brittany, you want to talk just a second here? I know you have spoken to me earlier about kind of these three, three pieces of analyzing your social media pages.
Of course. So, when we actually were in lease up last year, we opened in March. And so when we started on social media, we had about 100 followers. And so, it really was about growing that presence. And so it was kind of vital for us to make sure we were posting consistently so we weren't forgotten about, or that we would grow that exposure. And again, it just compounds. So, the more that people follow us, then their friends follow us. And so it's so important that you make this a priority and you plan ahead, because that consistency is really what's going to keep growing your presence. And then the next thing that we always kind of think about, and I try to put myself in someone's shoes on what I enjoy the most on social media. So I always try to I like to post later in the afternoon, because I know most people are getting off work, and just like I'm doing, they're going through their phone on social media just to kind of have a little bit of downtime. And so again, it's thinking from their perspective, what are they going to enjoy, and what are, can we make them laugh, or what can we do to get them engaged, and what are they going to enjoy seeing on social media? Is it a boring floor plan, or is it actually like an interactive 3D tour of us going through the community, through an apartment? So it's just really trying to think from their perspectives, and again, thinking maybe later in the day would be the best time to post that. And then maybe we've made mistakes. We've posted things and we've only gotten 10 likes, and it just wasn't the most, I guess the best post to make. So we really try to make sure, again, it's engaging, it's something they're going to enjoy. We've found that, of course, our Win It Wednesdays do really well. We also have found that when we post pictures of our resident or our team, those also do really well. And really, Instagram is meant for pictures. So it's not using, a stock photo or a flyer that you made on, Canva or something. It's really trying to make sure that you're posting pictures, because that's what people tend to have more engagement with, and we get more likes on.
Absolutely. I love that. And I know, Pascal, you had suggested and made some great points. In addition to reviewing your post, you ask for some feedback, a couple of times a year. Is that right?
Yes, so twice a year, we send out a survey to residents, essentially kind of showcasing all the events that we did for the first half and second half of the year, and then see which ones they liked, which ones they want to see again, what new events do they want. So it's all about the engagement with your residents, because some events are better than others. So you want to make sure that you target your residents in the community,
Absolutely. I love that. And you guys all kind of, operate on both Facebook and Instagram, and I know both really actually now have the option to do stories. Do either or any of you guys do Instagram stories for any of your communities, or Facebook stories? I know you can do that as well.
Yes, so I've done it before here. I've actually done a takeover for the Washington multifamily housing, where we've had their live feed all day. So that was kind of fun. We're definitely doing it more. We're going to be working actually in 2021 more on live. So we're looking at options as well to do like some live raffles, some trivia, so things like that, to make sure we engage with our residents and prospects.
Awesome. And how about Brittany N? Do you guys use stories as well?
We do. So we also we have the different sections of the stories on Instagram as well, from like resident events, support local, just different storylines that we save and we archive there, that people could reference back to view as well. So we definitely utilize the stories as well.
That's awesome. And how about you, Brittany P? Do you find that's helpful for your community? I know every community can be a little bit different too as well.
No, I really do. We use it quite often, and a lot of times it's how we announce our winners for Win It Wednesday. We did a scavenger hunt on our community a couple of months ago, and so like our signature, our community is named after Thomas Edison's laboratory, so we have a little light bulb that we use kind of in like as our logo, but we hid it throughout the community, and each week we gave a clue. And so when we announced the winner for a Yeti cooler, that was the prize, we did it live just because we felt like it was an exciting thing to announce, and we got a lot of great feedback from it.
That's awesome. So we have one more renter feedback that we would love to share with you, and then we'll jump into some key takeaways and then get to a lot of the questions coming in. I want to make sure we get all of those answered as well. So let's just hear from a quick piece of advice from one of our renters from our focus groups.
Instead of using social media only to make the apartment complex or the apartments or the community in general just look nice, I think that property managers should take that opportunity to develop a strong community, because the whole point of doing this is to make sure that the people living in those buildings or in the apartment complexes or these communities in general, you kind of have to make it so that they want to stay here and that they feel a connection to their apartment complex or to their community. So in order to take advantage of social media, they should develop a community and build a strong community that kind of shows from the social media aspect that they have a strong community at their apartment complexes or at their buildings, and that will bring in more renters as well as keep the renters that are currently there, and it'll also make the experience as a whole more enjoyable for people who are renting.
So one of the things I think is really big is he mentioned connection, and that's really something that social media is about, is to stay better connected with your residents, especially if you may be throughout the year you might have different times where might not be able to connect with your residents as often as you'd like, or maybe because the events are a little more social distanced. So use the social media to your benefit and really kind of be able to stay connected. So let's jump over to some quick key takeaways, and then we've got some questions coming in. So 3 key takeaways from myself is social media is really for your residents, right? Residents are seeking that connection and ultimately being transparent and authentic, showing the residents, really who you are, a little less stock photos, a little more authentic, real, about the community, residents, just everything kind of behind the scenes of what it's truly like living at that community. Any last quick key takeaways, Pascal, you want to leave our audience with before we jump to the questions?
Just make sure you showcase your community, essentially that sense of community that you've built, and let your prospects and your residents know that have fun with it. Make sure you partner with different local businesses and showcase that hidden side of your community to make sure that people really know the life cycle of the community.
Awesome. Brittany N.
I think my takeaway is referring back to the activity engagement equals exposure thing. Just make sure that you're active on there, that you're engaged, and that you're communicating and being social just as much as you want everybody else to be social on your page.
Awesome. And how about you, Brittany P?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing is just have fun with it. Be creative, and I think your followers are going to love if your personality comes through, and if they see something that's funny, or if it gets their interest. You just want to make sure that you're really having fun with it, because it really can be it's a fun thing to do when you get into the rhythm of it.
Absolutely. I love that. Those are great key takeaways. So I'm going to start kind of answering some questions, because again, we do have a lot of questions coming in. But again, if you haven't and you have come on perhaps after we had announced this, a reminder, social media giveaway. So make sure you like our page, Facebook and Instagram, and then we will put up a testimonial after the call today, and then make sure you like the post and comment, and we will announce our winner tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So I'm going to field out some questions as well as answer some, because we have some great questions coming in from our audience. We first have a question that says, how do we measure success regarding content? Brittany P, do you want to talk to us about how you measured your content? Is there a certain benchmark you use, particularly at your community?
We do. I think the thing that I probably strive for the most, because it does help the algorithm, is our comments. Obviously likes are important, but comments are really what helps to push your engage. I can't express it enough. Like, it basically is like the most important thing. So that's the reason that we really drive that Win It Wednesday, or we'll do like a Tuesday trivia, so we can get those comments. And even more important than that is to, have a comment that possibly tags somebody else, because it just really does grow your exposure.
Awesome. We have another one here. We have a question that says, how about frequency? I will say it's consistency will be, really important. And again, that kind of plays into that algorithm. If you're not posting often, in stuff that your audience wants to see, you kind of fall out of their viewpoint. So I would say at least once a day. Pascal, how often are you guys posting?
We're posting at least two times, sorry, 3 to 4 times a week, depending on how many posts we're sending in. So we try to make sure that we get new content every day and then engage. So it's just different content each day or every other day.
Okay, great. How about you, Brittany N? Are you posting every day, or is it more like an every other day?
So for us, it's probably about 4 to 5 times a week. But again, just going back to that, just being authentic and, just really all the feels of what you're posting, and just making sure it's not generic, that it is good content. But it's probably at least 3 to 4 times a week. And sometimes if you don't have that good content, sometimes sharing, again, local content. We share a lot of stuff to our stories as well, just to help that support local vibe.
That's great. We also have a question here. Do you post the same content to Facebook and Instagram? And again, I think that for me, I would say that can come down to your audience on, each platform. Brittany N, are you doing the same posts on both platforms?
We do, yes. We do the same for Instagram and for Facebook, yes.
Okay. How about you, Brittany P? Are you doing the same thing?
We do.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, to really use it. Again, Instagram is more about photos. So you might take the content and maybe switch it up a little bit the way it's showcased, but ultimately it really is the same content. We have another question here that says, should social media contest giveaways be done monthly? For me, I would say that's up to your budget. So, excuse me, I know, Brittany, you do the Win It Wednesdays weekly, right? That's every Wednesday?
It is. It is every Wednesday. And so, again, we have to plan ahead. And sometimes if we don't have it in the budget, we'll reach out to a vendor to say, hey, are you able to partner with us and maybe give us a gift card to offer on this? Or we'll partner with a local business and be like, hey, we're willing to showcase you. Would you be willing to give us a promotional item to showcase? So there are other ways around it, but we've found that weekly is really where it gives us the best engagement. And so we really try to stick to that.
Yeah, and I think, ultimately, say if it's like that waffle maker, I think I even saw that in the stores, it was like $10. So you're looking at, even if you did that weekly, that's only $40, right? So you could do that as well, or alternate. Maybe it is that giveaway from a local business or something like that in between every other week kind of thing. There was some questions about, do we have lists of contests that you could do to generate more exposure? I would urge y'all to take a look at our panelists' Facebook and Instagrams. They've had some great contests, and I know they'd be flattered if you were to, take a look and maybe snag one or two and give it a shot at your community. So that's probably a good way to look at that. We have a question here also, and kind of in the lane of, how do you connect and ask vendors to donate items for giveaways? I've never had any luck doing that. So if you could give me any tips. Anybody on the panelists want to let us know how you do that? Okay.
I can take that, Jennifer.
Sure.
So it's just about reaching out to your vendors. I mean, we give them a lot of business throughout the year. So let them know what we're doing and what we're showcasing, and also making sure that they know that we will make sure that they know it's sponsored by them. Most of your vendors are very likely to give you, if it's a gift card or a gift basket. We've done all kinds of giveaways where you can just ask vendors. Like, for instance, I'm actually in February, we're doing an espresso cart that our building cleaners are actually sponsoring the full cart. So we're going to have an espresso cart for 2 hours for our residents that they can come down and get fresh coffee or their favorite iced macchiato right in the lobby.
I love that. That is great. We have another question here. And I know, Brittany, you spoke here just a second ago a little bit about that prospect side. And we have a question that says, do you encourage your prospects to look at your social accounts when you're touring or even in the leasing process? Do you do that currently, Brittany?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Just let them know that we have an Instagram and a Facebook. We'd love for you to, follow us or whatnot. See what kind of resident events that we do, what kind of virtual games that we do, that sort of thing. Especially right now during the pandemic, we are doing virtual games and we're doing virtual resident events, virtual yoga. There's a lot of stuff that's on there that just kind of lets them know that it's not like a brick and mortar amenity that you can see, but these are the things that we do. So yeah, I absolutely, invite the prospects to look at us and follow us. Absolutely.
I think that's a great idea. It gives them a little peek into what it would be like to be a resident, right? Like if I were to move here and live here, these are the things that I could participate in, and and feel like I'm a part of this community.
Absolutely.
Let me know if I may be mistaken, because there's always new things rolling out. But we have a question about scheduling out stories. I am not familiar with anything or an app that you can do that. Am I mistaken by any of you awesome panelists? Do you guys schedule out any stories or know how to?
I don't. We typically just do them like the same day, that day. It's nothing that we pre-schedule.
Okay, I would assume that's the case. Stories is always meant to be kind of live or in the moment. So that's one of those things where if you see, let's say, your maintenance, is delivering a package for a resident, you might want to go and take a quick little video of him and say, hey, we really appreciate our maintenance guys. They're delivering this awesome package for a resident. It's super heavy, so you can use those moments for the stories if you have something that might have popped up that you didn't really plan on. So it's a little more in the moment or spur of the moment, should I say. We also have a question here. How are you determining your winners for Win It Wednesday or other giveaways? And do you allow non-residents to win? So you want to share a little bit about on your Win It Wednesdays, what you are doing with picking the winner and if you guys allow non-residents to win?
So we do allow non-residents to win. The funny part is I feel like a lot of people who start to follow us or end up leasing, and sometimes they'll win prizes before they ever even move in. But I think it's exciting for them to kind of be, to win something before they even got here. We usually use an app, or there's several websites that you can use if you just Google Instagram winners, and it'll actually put all of the people who commented who would be eligible to win in almost like a spinning wheel, and then we announce it usually on our stories on who won, and they can see that it's random and it was unbiased. It was truly picked just through the app.
Awesome. Okay, we still have a lot of more questions, so I want to make sure I get to them all as well. Let's see. Real quick, I do have one just reminding folks we will send the presentation out after the call, so look out for that email. Let's see. We have somebody here that says, we asked our office staff to participate in a spotlight or celebrate birthdays, and they aren't comfortable with that. How do you encourage your office staff to be a part of this? That is a great question. I think nowadays, even between virtual leasing and social media, some people may not be comfortable with that. Is there any tips that you guys as a panelist can share that's helped your team become more comfortable with social media? Because it may be new for some folks, in this new social world, should I say.
I think really I like highlighting their strengths as a team member, whether it's like Pascal and his service manager, and kind of highlighting that award, or just highlighting their strength or something that they're doing for a resident, making it less like pressure of like, hey, this is about me, and question and answer sort of format. I think just in their natural element, capturing them in that moment. They're a part of your team for a reason. Like, they're obviously very good at their job. Maybe just capture them in their natural element and kind of highlight them on social media in that way. Maybe that would help them get comfortable.
I love that, kind of not making it like a straight on photo, right? Of like, hey, stand against the wall, let me take your photo.
I can echo that too really quick. We
Yeah.
started doing resident and team member spotlights, which is great. So they just fill out a mini questionnaire, and then you know, they send us their favorite photo, kind of showcasing them. So it's another way of doing that. And also when you're doing like big events such as like a food drive, making sure you like have your whole team there to take that picture of, you know, thanking the community of all the items that we've collected for our food drive.
Yeah, that's a good one too, is not make it maybe just about them, but have the team together. They might feel a little more comfortable if you have, you know, everybody in that picture, or a couple of your team members in that photo. So that's really great as well. For those of you here as panelists that are doing those giveaways, do you guys do a lot of promoting? Because somebody has asked, how do you get people active? Like, do you send kind of notices, or are you doing some kind of like promo to gather and to get people, you know, active and into the, you know, giveaway aspect?
So, you know, it's a step-by-step process, and it is, again, that consistency. So when we first started, we had like less than 100 followers. So we actually would go to like, you know, we would follow businesses in the area or other properties. And then as we started to do more regular posts and more regular giveaways, you know, the goal always was to say, please like this and comment, you know, if you want to be eligible to win. And the best one is really like it, and then share it maybe with a friend so that they're tagged, and maybe if they don't follow us, then they will. And it just helps to build that following. So when we first started out, we would only get maybe 10 to 15 likes, but now we're up to where we can get, you know, anywhere from 60 to 70 in like a 2-day period. So it's just step by step, it's consistency, and just thinking from, you know, your followers, what's going to get them engaged? What would they like? What would, you know, what would they want to win for free? Is it a $15 gift card to Starbucks, or is it, you know, a smart outlet? Like, just what would they enjoy winning, and what would they actually comment and start engaging on to be able to win?
Yeah, that's really great. We have a question here. It says, how often should you audit your social media? Monthly, quarterly? I definitely, for me, I think, you know, looking at it weekly and monthly is the way to go. You definitely don't want to go, you know, longer than, I would even say, honestly, thinking about that, probably 2 weeks. Things change so quickly, you know, and social is really about kind of that current moment. So really kind of being in tuned and looking at them, you know, I would say weekly, even 2 weeks, to really understand, you know, what's happening on the social. If you wait too long, you might repeat something that didn't really, or that wasn't successful, let's say a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And so you really want to kind of stay on it as a consistent check-in, so you know what's working and what's not working. We have a couple of folks that actually said there is a few options that you can schedule stories. Well, this is great. Y'all are awesome. So we have some folks that say Hootsuite works. Oh yeah, I forgot about this app. Later, Later. So that's a good one. Oh, if you pay for the portion in Canva, you can schedule stories in there as well. Look at y'all. Love that. This is why we love these Q&A. So there's some options there for you as well. All right. And then it looks like we have 2 more questions here. How do you combat employees who don't want to link their personal account to the business account? I believe that if you link your personal account to the business account, they don't see any of that personal side. I did, when I was a marketing director, have some managers that were a little hesitant, but when I walked them through the process, none of that is technically connected. You know, nobody sees that personal information. It's just to be able to log in, so you can get to the business account. Any of my panelists have any other ways to maybe combat employees who are a little unsure, you know, of logging in through their personal account?
For us, it's slightly different. We actually just have a property account that's handled through our Seattle office. So essentially, we send the content in through Smartsheet and make sure that the posts are kept fresh every couple of days.
Okay. So let's say either Brittany, do you guys have like a one central login for the properties, or how are you guys set up?
So we're all as admins, like
Okay.
it does link to like my Facebook or to my Insta, just so I can switch between the two. But one doesn't have anything to do with the other. Now, our large account is done at a marketing level, at a corporate level. But in order to be admins, our accounts are kind of shared, I guess. But my personal stuff doesn't parlay over into the properties account.
Okay, that's what I thought too. I didn't know if it had anything had changed. But that's kind of how I think it's always been set up. So maybe just a walkthrough with your team to show them, so they feel a little bit more confident, in understanding that there is no real connection between the two. It's almost just used as a pathway to get to that business account. Um, let's see. Oh, we have somebody else that says, on a side note, you can schedule stories from your phone, but you do need to physically send a push notification. So yeah, it's not fully automated, because again, stories is always meant to be real time, right? It's meant to be what's happening in that exact moment, because when you think about other posts, they're more static and can be planned. But if you have something that's really cool that's happening at your community, and you want to showcase that as a moment in time, that's the way to do it, is through the stories, right? Or using your stories as to announce a winner, right? This is exactly what's happening. It's an opportunity there for people to get on and talk to you about that. So that's kind of the thought behind, really, I think, the stories aspect. All right. Let me see. Um, let's see if there's any other questions that I'm seeing. I want to make sure we get those. We have about 7 minutes, and I have a few other things to showcase with you, especially with our upcoming next webinar is next month. One last question I think we have here. How are people who like different from the people that follow you? So if I'm not mistaken, following there is they're going to be seeing all of your posts from the feed that you are posting, as long as you are active on that. They're liking your pictures or your graphics that you are posting. So following just means they're going to get your updates. That's going to be in their news feeds on a regular basis. And then they're kind of wanting to be, first VIP on knowing what's going on with the community. Well, I have to say thank you very much to all of our panelists for today. I have one last question that just came in. Are there any resources that you would recommend for those that are new to social media, like ways to understand the algorithms or maximum engagement? Brittany, you talk a lot about the algorithms and understand that. Is there anything you've used in the past that's helped you, embrace and understand kind of the behind the scenes, should I say, of social media?
I unfortunately I can't. There wasn't one thing. It was just a lot of learning, sitting through webinars like this, just understanding what was happening when we did post or when we got comments or likes, that sort of thing. So no, unfortunately, Brittany P might be able to, because she also actually mentioned it earlier.
Brittany P, did you have any words of wisdom when it comes to the algorithms? Oh, maybe she's on mute. Let's see. Oh, I think we might have lost her. Well, I would say ultimately, what your good friend is going to be Google. If you can, go ahead and that probably would be helpful as well. Again, I think it comes down to content, engagement, and then kind of always analyzing what's working. And again, one of the biggest things is to take away is to really reach out to your residents. What are they looking for, right? Get their feedback so you really can understand what's going to have them come to your social media as well. The other one, I just wanted to verify, I think I had misread the question was that like versus follow. So if you like the page, in that respect, it's just a page. It's not a business page. I would call it a personal page. But if you are following them, then that's the business page. So I think I might have misunderstood the like versus business on that question. So yes, somebody has asked to share the handles for each property again. Absolutely. Let me get that screen up for you so you guys can track them down and find them. So our three amazing panelists here, Pascal at the Century Seattle, Brittany Nelson at Link APTSIQ, and then Brittany Parker at the Menlo APTS is her handle as well. Really appreciate each one of you panelists joining me today. Wonderful insights. You guys have done a fantastic job. And without further ado, let me give you a quick peek into what February is, because we would love for you to join us. And that is going to be all about creating an epic experience. So we have 3 brand new panelists that are going to join us here for our February webinar. Oh, we have a quick question. We have some attendees that would love to know if they can reach out to our current panelists, Pascal and Brittany. Are you guys open to some of our attendees reaching out to you if they have some questions?
Of course.
Yeah. Right. Well, great. Before we close out, as our months continue for our free Power Panel webinars, if you are interested in possibly participating as a panelist, in our follow-up email, there will be a link. You can nominate an on-site team member or suggest yourself and even suggest some future topics. So look out for that in the follow-up email. That's actually going to conclude our first Power Panel webinar of 2021. We appreciate everyone joining us. And again, I appreciate all of my panelists today. You guys have been fantastic. And as you exit today, please leave a wonderful comment. And we will grab one of those comments, post it on our social, and be sure to come back and like that post and comment, and you will be entered to win that $50 Starbucks card. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Thursday morning and afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.